They say everything online is a lie. My name, not actually Shira. My hair, not even real. But to go as far as to lie about directing a movie for an entertainment company as big as A24? Yeah, that is the Mount Everest of internet fiction.
It's official. I'm going to be directing the next feature film with A24.
This is Mary-Kate Teskey. She's a self-proclaimed jack of all trades. A musician, multimedia artist, photographer, screenwriter, and now, according to her TikTok, a big shot movie director. Recently, she has fallen into some hot water for lying on the internet about working with A24, the powerhouse behind some iconic films such as Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Whale, Hereditary, Pearl, Midsummer, and Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
Right. And although this story is a little bit more niche than anything I have ever covered before, it's a wild ride. No, like literally, it's about her 1961 Dodge Lancer. Yes, it's about a car. Kind of. So this whole story starts with a TikTok that Mary-Kate posted in August of 2023. Side note, I did cut down the original TikTok as much as I could. I mean, it's still pretty long, but stick around because it's really, really important to see it for context.
I want to tell you the story about how I got this 1961 Dodge Lancer. My grandparents owned a gas station in Bellevue on Clyde Hill in the late 1980s. My grandpa had one rule, which was to take care of the old ladies that came into the gas station. One day my grandpa was working when a young guy came in and pulled him aside and asked if he was the owner of the gas station. My grandpa said that he was, and the young guy looked at my grandpa and said, "My mom used to come in here and you and your sons took care of her in her car, and her last wish was that you have it." So my grandpa, even though he didn't need it, kept the car and parked it at the gas station. And about a year after my grandpa got this Lancer, another old lady pulled into the station to fill up her 1970s Maverick. She was filling up her car that day, but after filling up, she went to start her car and nothing happened. My grandpa looked at her and said, "Louise, I'm sorry, your car is totaled." And she started crying. My grandpa looked at the woman and said, "Louise, how about let's trade?" So he traded her 70s Maverick for the 61 Dodge Lancer. I was then born, and so was my sister, and the gas station started getting broken into. My grandparents decided they didn't want this for their family anymore and wanted to become farmers. And a year into farming, my grandpa got a phone call from Louise West, the woman he had given the Lancer to, but before she passed away, she wanted the Lancer to find its way back to him. And when I was 15 years old, my grandpa saw me reading a driver's ed manual and asked if I needed a car. I said, yeah, and then he said, "Have I ever told you about these two women that willed this car to me?" I said, no. And so my grandpa started telling me all these stories, and he looked at me and he said, "I think you're the third old lady to own this car."
Now this TikTok ended up getting about 1.6 million views, and Mary-Kate got flooded with comments like, "You should write a book about your story. It's a great story. I don't know why I'm crying, but that's a beautiful story. Thank you. Why is a story about a car making me tear up?" And a week or so later, she replies to a comment that says, "It seems like a book or a movie. I love it."
Yeah, I think it sounds like a book or a movie too, and I would love to make a book if the right publisher stepped in and gave me a book deal, and I would love to make a movie if the right production company stepped in and helped me fund it. I'm gonna make those two things independently either way, a book and a movie, but it would really help if a publisher and a production company stepped in and helped me out.
So at this stage, the viral success of the original video stroked Mary-Kate's ego so hard that she thought that her little 6-minute TikTok story could become a blockbuster or a book. Sure, it's like a cute, bedtime story you tell your grandkids or a fun dinner party anecdote, but a major motion picture? Nonetheless, Mary-Kate was dead set on the fact that a publisher or a production company was gonna fund her little project. But it seemed like neither were knocking at the door. But you know who did knock? Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels! Beat that!
So that's kind of a funny story. Hot Wheels reached out to me and wanted to fly me to the UK to be on their new show for NBC and make a Hot Wheels out of my car, but they wanted to also tell my origin story, and I have my origin story copyrighted through the Writers Guild of America, and once I told them that, they kind of started backing away and things fell through. So Hot Wheels probably isn't interested in me because of my copyright.
Alright, so I'm not like a copyright whiz by any means, but I did a little digging, and it turns out that you can't copyright like an origin story. It has to be like in a tangible form, like in a script or an artwork or a movie. So either she's like confused or she's lying. Either way, I think Hot Wheels was literally the perfect platform for her and her story. I mean, she'd get to post behind the scenes on her TikTok, she'd get a miniature version of her car, which is so cute, and she'd get flown out to London. Win-win. Sure, it's not a blockbuster deal, but I feel like this is as best as it gets forget, especially since Mary-Kate started to get really desperate a few weeks later.
This video is for the CEO of Dodge. Howdy, my name is Mary-Kate Teskey, and if you took a second and watched the video that I stitched this with, you would find out that I own this 1961 Dodge Lancer. You would also come to find out that this is not an ordinary Dodge. This is a magical, mysterious, wonderful Dodge that is full of lore, and the story has captivated millions across the land. So I've taken it upon myself to write that story into a script, and you guessed it, I'm turning that story into a movie because the people demand it and I need your help. So the CEO of Dodge, I'm expecting a phone call later to talk about this movie, talk about the script, talk about getting this Dodge onto the big screen because it's what the people want. And you want to give the people what they want, don't you?
Now, I do admire her persistence and shamelessness to get the story off the ground. I mean, I always say, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. But to ask people to tag Dodge in the comments, it's giving me the ick. Like, I highly doubt the unpaid marketing intern at Dodge even knows who the CEO is, let alone has their like personal email. But hey, I guess it never hurts to try. And her persistence does end up paying off in October of 2023 when she gives us a really big update.
Have I got an update for you. I sent my screenplay to my friend Jason Lee. You probably know him from My Name is Earl as well as his skateboarding career, but he loves the screenplay and he's all about me making a movie. So I'm gonna keep revising the script, send him the updates, kind of get some feedback on what he likes, what he doesn't like. Him and I talk movies all the time, by the way, so this movie might happen, you guys. I am jazzed. Yeehaw!
Now, I literally thought that this was a lie, but I went through Jason Lee's following on Instagram and she was right there. So this is true. So it seems like she has some sort of industry connections, and it seemed more and more likely like she was gonna get this movie off the ground. But Mary was running out of options because on October 15th of 2023, she decided to launch a GoFundMe. The weird part, she was also begging a major production company to fund her project. Like literally in the same video where she was like, please donate to my GoFundMe, she was asking people to tag A24, which is kind of weird because you usually don't double dip fundraisers like this, and it gives off like weird sus vibes. She was also asking for a cool $100,000, but to this day only managed to rank in about 525. Ouch. But that did not stop Mary-Kate from chasing her dreams.
You're probably saying, what does Mary-Kate know about movies? Mary-Kate can't make a movie, but listen to me. I've been working at a movie theater for the past 3 years, and I've been trying to watch every single movie that's ever been made so that I can absorb and gain power and information and turn into an infinite vessel for all of the movie energy that flows through the universe. I've been reading scripts. I've been watching interviews with all of the directors from all over the world, from every single time and place, and I know that my time is now.
And her delusions of grandeur hit new heights on February 8th of 2024 when she decided to quit her movie theater job to pursue her dreams. Wow. I mean, I did something similar. Well, the whole Coroni Macaroni thing happened and nobody was hiring DJs anymore, so technically I lost my job and my steady paycheck. But hey, sometimes you gotta jump off the cliff and hope you can fly.
I've been working at this movie theater for the past 3 years so that I can study film. I've never gone to film school. I'm never going to go to film school, but I wanted to work in a movie theater so I could fully submerge myself into film. A lot of people have told me that if I don't go to film school, there's no way that I can make a movie on my own, let alone direct it. And you gotta understand, that doesn't make me want to do it any less. That actually makes me want to do it more. Which leads me to tell you some big news. I actually quit my job at this movie theater. This is my last shift here because I am jumping into becoming a full-time filmmaker. I'm gonna make this movie. I shared my story here on TikTok. It blew up and went viral, and now I've got thousands of you DMing me, messaging me, emailing me, asking me when the movie is gonna come out. And right now, if I spend this next year doing a lot of pre-production, we could start filming by 2025, which means the movie could be out by 2026. I know 2026 seems like it's a long way off, but it really isn't because I have so much pre-production and production to put together.
Now, if you were paying close attention, to that TikTok, you might have noticed that Mary-Kate finally shared her official movie timeline. Pre-production in 2024, production in 2025, and release in 2026. Remember those dates. They'll be important later on in the video. Now, by the end of February, things were really heating up. Mary-Kate had just turned 30, she quit her movie theater job, and she has spent the last 6 months anxiously waiting for a production company or a publisher to fund her project. Plot twist, neither happened. So tensions were clearly high, and she was desperately chasing that big break. So on February 23rd, she made a video practically begging A24 for a movie deal. And while she deleted the original, I got the receipts, screenshots. In the original video, she's all like, "Where are you at, A24? I have a movie that will make you millions. I am waiting, my followers are waiting." And she tags A24 in the description with a bold, "Where's my movie deal?" That is so aggressive. Who says you deserve a movie deal? Sure, getting 1 million views on TikTok is impressive, but it's not like a groundbreaking achievement that deserves a movie deal. Now, by this point, it's become pretty clear that A24 has not slid into Mary-Kate's DMs. Otherwise, she wouldn't be like e-begging this hard. And remember, this all went down on February 23rd, okay? Got it? 6 days later, February 29th. We get our first announcement video celebrating her collaboration with A24. I wrote a screenplay that got picked up by A24. Now they are flying me to New York to discuss my film at their headquarters. And in the description, she writes, "I'm gonna be a director, baby," and again, tags A24. So it's kind of crazy that in just 6 days, Mary-Kate managed to get a movie deal, and I can't even get my crush to text me back. Like, clearly, we're living in 2 different realities here, because even a simple YouTube sponsorship takes weeks to organize. Thank you, Balessa, link down below. But in just 6 days, A24 read your screenplay, made the contract, and fleshed out the full deal. Insane. And on March 1st of 2024, Mary-Kate makes another announcement video with A24. And now they're flying her out to New York. Yeah.
My wife is driving me to the airport. It's been about 3 years since I've flown. The last time wasn't very fun though. It was for my grandma's funeral. I'm hoping this time is a lot more fun. A24 is flying me out to New York City. They're gonna have me go to their headquarters and talk to some of their studio execs. They are flying me out right now. I am leaving. I'm heading to New York City to go talk to them about this movie. I am just beyond stoked. I'm excited to fly on a plane again. I'm excited to leave Montana. I just cannot wait to meet with A24. Oh my god. Are you gonna miss me? It's only gonna be a quick trip. Only gonna be.
What's so funny, you guys? What are we laughing about?
It is only gonna be a quick trip. I'm gonna be there for 1 day, so I'm flying back tomorrow. I've never flown first class, but I'm really hoping that A24 booked me for a first class ticket. I mean, I'm gonna be their new director, so they better book me a first class ticket. I'll probably be flying out a few other times from Montana to New York to continue working on this movie. I also am a musician, and I have to be back for a couple shows, so that is why it's gonna be such a quick trip, is because I'm actually planning for a few festivals and a tour, as well as being a director. Going to New York. Hopping on a plane. We can't find parking anywhere near the gate, so we're gonna loop back around. I love you. I'll see you later. Bye. Bye. Good luck.
Yep, she actually drove all the way to the airport for a top secret, super important, totally not fake meeting in New York. And her wife probably had to do like the whole like awkward airport loop and like pick her back up because, you know, they had to go home afterwards. Stop. I also find it hilarious that Mary-Kate says that she hasn't flown on a plane in 3 years, but still not managed to take a single photo or video of her big A24 experience. Like, they're announcing you as this big new director. Like, I'm sure they pulled out the red carpet, right? And then 1 day later, she drops another announcement video.
It's official. I'm gonna be directing the next feature film with A24.
Yup. Girly Pop really did Photoshop the A24 logo on a random photo of her in a car. Like, the story isn't even about you. Why are you in the car? And even though this original TikTok got deleted too before I could save it, Mary Kate shares the timeline that A24 gave her for her movie. And surprise, surprise, it matches exactly to the timeline that she shared back in early February. You know, the pre-production 2024, production 2025, and the big grand premiere in 2026. Oh my god, what a coincidence. Now, to this day, there has not been a single tweet, no IG posts, no announcements, not even a single carrier pigeon from A24 about this collaboration. And guess what? It's almost July, 6 months after the initial announcement. So naturally, TikTok is all like, what happened here? What's going on? Was this all a lie? Is this like a prank? And some have even begun to whip up some conspiracy theories.
Haven't sold the rights to the story until now. I was waiting for A24 to reach out, and they did!
This is a bit, right? Like, they didn't actually reach out. Like, we would have heard something by now. This would have been announced. This would be a pretty big thing if they picked up someone's story off of a TikTok and now A24 is going to be producing it. I mean, it's a bold move actually tagging them, because then they have to respond eventually, right? But then, like, was your trip to go see them? Like, was that just, what were you doing? Was it all fake? Like, I guess gaslighting your way into the industry is kind of a strategy. I think it's worked before for someone. I think that story about Steven Spielberg is a myth, but you know, I don't know. Maybe it will work.
And guess what? Mary Kate blocked this guy and anyone who dared to criticize her. And since then, she has also deleted every single TikTok about A24 and has halted her GoFundMe. But, well, you know, she did release, I wouldn't call it like an apology or an explanation. I would say, I guess it's like a response. Not a good one either.
Phillips, did I say A24? I meant to say B24. I am a first-time director after all. I've written a script and have been working on storyboarding it. I'm also talking to a line producer. I've never directed before, but feel confident that I can based on previous life experiences and projects that I've worked on.
Okay, I'm one of those people who like doesn't trust anybody who cannot apologize. How hard is it to just be like, hey, sorry guys, I messed up? Like, people are surprisingly cool if you like explain yourself and you apologize. But no, Mary Kate decided to double down, and during an interview with Victoria Beaver for Road and Truck magazine, she claimed that the whole thing was satire. Satire. Okay. Yeah, because nothing says satire like blocking everyone and nuking your TikTok. I did that satirically because I have actually been contacted by NBC, Teskey explained. That Hot Wheels thing was actually legitimate, and I have been contacted by Hallmark. I've been working on the story for years and have gotten noticed by different productions. Okay? So why didn't you go with NBC or Hallmark? Like, your story seems way more up the alley of Hallmark than A24. To this date, A24 has not been in contact with Teskey in any matter. She still hopes to be discovered by the company or one of a similar caliber. I have been waiting for them, A24, to contact me because that is my ideal production company, Teskey said. I still, in the end, would love it if they would want to work with me. I just threw it out there because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna create the satire and see how it's taken. Now, some might argue that Mary Kate was manifesting, but like, come on. That term has been so overused recently that it's completely lost its meaning. Like, true manifestation involves journaling and making a vision board, not lying on the internet about your fake achievements. Now, if you're genuinely interested in quote unquote manifesting, I would really recommend this book by Martha Beck called Finding Your Own North Star. She actually also happens to be Oprah's life coach. And if you pair that with Robert Greene's Mastery or literally any other book by Robert Greene, I promise you, you will achieve your dreams. But if you want to be a full-fledged movie director like Mary Kate does, it's gonna start out rough. You're gonna have to start at the bottom of the barrel and work your way up. I mean, it starts out with terrible jobs of like being the the assistant of the assistant of the assistant to the assistant director, being a runner, being an extra, taking any and every job you can in the industry, and then slowly working up from there, building connections, relationships, and trust. And it will take many, 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 many years. Okay, it doesn't just take one TikTok that goes viral. That being said, I'm actually co-directing my first feature film with Christopher Nolan, and it's already getting Oscar buzz. So I guess I'll see you on the big screen or in my Discord community down below. Click that little link. We play games, watch movies weekly. It's a lot of fun. And if you have any suggestions for my next video, put it in my Discord, send me a message on Instagram, and subscribe. Bye!